Currently ranked number 8 by the WBC. Hello again, everyone. Tim Ryan with Gil Clancy and Angelo Dundee. We are back here at ringside where the fighters are in the ring for this light heavyweight bout scheduled for 10 rounds. And gentlemen, certainly the importance of this fight has already been underlined. The question in my mind is whether the experience of Rossman, Angelo, is going to be the bigger factor in this fight, despite the fact that he's the underdog.
I think it's a big factor right now. Rossman came in red hot. He's been working out in the dressing room, sweating up a storm. The other kid looks like he's cold. He ain't sweating a drop.
There's Dwight Braxton, currently ranked number 8 by the WBC, unranked by the WBA, and he brings in a record of 13-1-1 with 7 knockouts. He is 27 years of age, from Camden, New Jersey. Mike Rossman, Philadelphia fighter, ranked number 5 by the WBA, number 6 by the WBC. Won the championship from Victor Galindez, lost it back to Galindez after defending it against Aldo Traversaro one time. Has been on the comeback trail, and in his last outing, defeated Luke Capuano right here on CBS. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape for this afternoon's fight. Braxton is noted by those who follow boxing closely as a rather short light heavyweight. He stands just 5'8", and so the reach advantage and height advantage belongs to Rossman. Braxton, 28 years of age, and Rossman, 24, but again, the question of whether he is a used-up fighter at that age. And so we now will find out the introductions from the ring announcer, Eddie Darian.
From Resorts International Hotel here in Atlantic City, New Jersey, and in association with Peltz Boxing Promotions, the main event. Introducing the principals in the blue corner, wearing the gold trunks with the blue stripes, weighing in at 172 3/4 pounds, from Camden, New Jersey, ranked 8th in the world by the World Boxing Council. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the Camden buzzsaw, Dwight Braxton. And his opponent in the red corner, wearing the dark navy blue trunks with the red and white stripes, from Turnersville, New Jersey, weighing it at 174 1/2 pounds, ranked 4th in the world by the World Boxing Association, the former light heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Rossman. In the ring at this time, the man in charge of this scheduled 10-round light heavyweight bout, referee Joe Cortez.
Murray, the round system in effect in the state of New Jersey, with a supplemental 5-point scoring system in the event of an even fight. Mandatory 8 count will be in effect. The count continues after the bell, except in the final 10th round. And the 3 knockdown rule is in effect today under the rules of the New Jersey State Athletic Commission. This is an 18.5-foot ring at Resorts International. Fighters are wearing 8-ounce gloves, and we are underway with Mike Rossman, the former champion, on the right in the dark trunks. The challenger, Dwight Braxton, in gold. Round number 1, scheduled for 10. Interesting sidelight to this fight has been that both of the opponents have been training on the famous steel pier across the street from the Resorts Hotel, and they've been housed in there with lions and tigers and panthers who are part of a show going on the boardwalk these past couple of weeks. It hasn't been the most comfortable of settings for them, but it's certainly been among the most unique and romantic settings, and perhaps they've been inspired by the wild animals. We'll find out as the fight goes along, gentlemen.
I'm glad you said this fight's scheduled for 10, Tim. It's scheduled, but I don't know if it's going to go 10, because they're going to start throwing bombs right away.
Braxton has 7 knockouts in his 13 victories. Although he failed to stop his opponents in his last 2 fights, he was not pleased with his performance against Al Bolden, his last outing. Said it was not a big money fight for him. He was expecting to get some bigger money after winning the cable television tournament, in which he won 4 fights to win that title. And the big money didn't arrive, and he said he kind of flattened out in his attitude, but he was ready today. He's making a good buck, and he's going for the title.
Tim, you know, the most misused thing in boxing is reach. It's the way you stick that jab in there and the way you move into an opponent that makes your reach effective. Now, you notice Braxton has been out jabbing Rossman. Shorter reach, shorter man.
Bill, Mike Rossman has acknowledged that he's been getting hit a lot, and he said, I'm not sure why. He says, I've probably picked up some bad habits. I've been through 3 trainers in the last couple of years, and And he acknowledged concern himself that his defense isn't as good as it should be.
Well, this is going to be the supreme test today. He's in with an ambitious guy that sees a lot of paydays ahead of him. Braxton has a lot of big paydays ahead of him if he can get by Rossman.
Under a minute to go in round number 1.
You know, Braxton attacks from a very, very low angle. He reminds me of a crab as he's coming in. Very, very difficult target on the way in.
Just landed 2 good shots inside to the cheekbone of Mike Rossman.
I think Rossman's got to change tactics and go to this kid, because otherwise he's going to keep getting hit with that jab. He's got to attack this young man.
Braxton landed with a right-hand lead in the last exchange. Under 30 seconds to go, round 1. Full house on hand at the Resorts International. Knowledgeable fight crowd that comes over from Philadelphia and around this Atlantic City area. Coming to the end of round number 1. Round number 2, Tim Ryan with Joe Clancy and Angelo Dundee. Braxton out quickly here. Beginning round number 2, Matthew Saad Muhammad, the WBC light heavyweight champion, is in attendance watching this fight. He has indicated that he is willing to fight the winner of this match, which would be his 8th title defense of the WBC crown. So clearly a big fight for both these young men.
I noticed that Braxton at the end of the round stopped jabbing. I was going back to using that jab. And I noticed also that Rossman's looking to counter this kid. So they're both going to start firing at each other early on.
But you know, the counter for a jab is a good left hook. Braxton seems to be ducking into those left hooks. If I was Mike, I'd start feinting that jab, slip the other guy's jab, and start hitting him with left hooks underneath. And he bends right into them. Another point I'd like to make, everybody thinks Rossman isn't a tough guy. The way he won the championship was inside against Galinda's, one of the strongest men in the world, and he out-toughed him inside.
Mike Rossman has lost 6 times in his career, 140, and had 3 draws. He himself feels that if he loses this fight, as he puts it, who wants an ex-champion who lost his last fight? He realizes he's got to win to keep his boxing career alive.
That awkwardness of Braxton's deal, you notice is saving him a couple of times, slipping shots.
Big right hand on the chin by Braxton, Ange. But he ducks right into that left hook. I'd like to see Mike bring those punches up. You know, he's a little guy. It's tempting to go for his head. That head moves. That body doesn't move, though, Ange. I think he can fake and start throwing left hooks underneath.
And you're right. Rossman is a good body puncher, Gil.
Right.
Dwight Braxton learned how to box while serving time in prison. Came out and turned professional in 1978. He's handled by Quenzel McCall, a well-known figure in the Philadelphia area. Managed by Wesley Mouzon. Taking advantage. Help from these gentlemen to launch his boxing career. He's 13-1-1.
You know, Tim, Wesley Mouzon was a well-known fighter around Philadelphia also. Great lightweight.
And Quenzel McCall is a real good trainer. He's in good hands, Ange.
Yes, he is.
Rossman now trained by Jimmy Washington. His brother Andy DiPiano and Eddie Aliano in the corner with him. He's his own manager these days, having split from his father, Jimmy DiPiano. In a business sense, his father is here at ringside watching his son, but they are no longer in business together.
Rossman got the worst of that last exchange, Tim. He got nailed with a right hand on top, left hook on top.
He's still going for the head, Ange. He should be digging underneath. He's missing those head punches.
Good right hand from Braxton. Counter punching off the rope. Final second to round 2. He's scheduled for 10. Again, Braxton quickly off the stool, eager to get started here as he had the better of it. And the exchange is near the end of round 2. Braxton in gold. Mike Rossman in the dark blue trunks. Good right hand, and that wobbled Rossman. Right hand from Braxton. Referee is Joe Cortez. Tim Ryan with Angelo Dundee and Gil Clancy ringside. We are live from Resorts International in Atlantic City.
Braxton's jab is the key to his beating Rossman. Now, Rossman did something there. Braxton threw a good right uppercut. That's a no-no when the man's straight up. You don't throw right uppercuts, and Braxton paid for it with a left hook.
a tough little guy. Angelo, he's built like a rock. Like Braxton. But I'd like to see Rossman start digging underneath, see what happens then. As you pointed out, Braxton, despite the fact that he's the shorter guy, he's able to out-jab him, and that's a big factor in the fight right now.
Braxton has a brother, Tony, who's an up-and-coming young middleweight fighter. Dwight winning his cable TV title over Tony Masaraca and has a victory over Johnny Davis. To his credit, with 13 victories.
So far, how Braxton's been fighting, to answer your question, Tim, he's got enough experience.
Good left hand landed from Braxton. Rossman took a lot of punishment in that Luke Capuano fight despite winning the 10-round decision. He's shown that he can take a punch, but he gets hit a lot.
I'm surprised at the awkwardness of this kid, the way he gets him out of trouble. Braxton slips punches and slips in his own little way.
He does fight like an experienced fighter. He's only had 14 pro fights, but he fights like he's had a lot of experience. Look at the way he moves that head and slips those punches.
Under a minute to go, round number 3. Braxton stalking Rossman. Rossman more comfortable counterpunching.
Rossman slipping left, Tim, leaving himself wide open for a right hand, just like that. He keeps turning to his left and walking in the right hand.
That's right. Nothing's coming behind that jab. He's not hooking off the jab, and he's not dropping the right hand in off it. So Braxton's having a field day countering it.
15 seconds left in round 3. Approaching the end now of this 3rd round. Round number 4. Dwight Braxton in gold. Mike Rossman in dark blue. Braxton, the older but less experienced professional, off to a better start, the way we see it on our cards.
Rossman has a slight cut over his left eye. They're working on between rounds, Tim. It can't be much because we haven't seen any blood, but there is a cut there.
Eddie Aliano, the cut man, experienced veteran in that trade.
They also told Rossman to start going downstairs and sticking more, so he's trying to do both right now.
Rossman 5'11", Braxton 5'8", but that height disadvantage hasn't hurt Braxton in the early going.
The best jab is owned by Braxton, right, Tim?
Right now, the best everything's owned by Braxton. He's throwing the harder punches, the better jab. Rossman, I think, is going to have to start backing this little guy up. What do you think, Ian?
Yeah, he shouldn't be backing up. He's giving this little guy momentum. He's going to get hit some shots all night long. He can't look to counter this guy because his awkwardness won't allow him to be countered.
We're in the 4th round, scheduled for 10.
Right now, it's a picnic for Braxton. Everything he's doing works.
Short of that right hand to the head of Rossman, now digs effectively to the body. Next Saturday.
That's what he has to do. He has to throw that left hook underneath. It's the first one today, and it worked.
Excuse me, Gil. Next Saturday on CBS, just a reminder, the Belmont Stakes, 5 o'clock Eastern Time, 30th consecutive year. CBS has covered the 3rd jewel in racing's Triple Crown. Joe Cortez, the referee, separating the fighters. He and the 2 judges at ringside will do the scoring on the round system. Eva Sheen and Richard Murray are the judges. Under a minute to go, round number 4.
That Braxton's doing a no-no. He's got his mouth wide open, and you don't do that. You got to keep that mouth of yours closed in the ring. It's been proven many times. A good punch inadvertently can get you a busted jaw.
Right hand lead landed from Braxton. He misses with that right. Under 30 seconds, round 4.
Mike just won't bring those punches up, and that's the spot he's got to throw them.
I think Mike's got to get in close, Gil, and dominate the guy in close. He's a good infighter. He's not using it tonight.
Coming to the end of round number 4. scheduled for 10. Light heavyweights, Rossman and Braxton. Round number 5 of the scheduled 10-rounder. Dwight Braxton looking very relaxed in the gold trunks. Mike Rossman, the former champion, in the dark trunks. Been a good start for Braxton, the way we see it. Would you fellows agree to that?
I have to agree. Mike's going to have to change his strategy completely to take over in this fight. He's going to have to back this kid up. He's going to have to bang him downstairs. Forget his head for a while.
Well, as you pointed out, Angie, Mike is a good in fighter, or has been in the past. Again, against Galindez is the way he won his championship. He took him inside and tore him up. That's the only chance he has in this fight now. If he wants to win it, he's got to change his tactics completely and take a shot. Otherwise, it's just going to be one round after the other of Braxton pitching and Rossman catching.
This fight has been called the Crossroads for the Jewish Bomber, a nickname that Rossman cultivated and encouraged, aided by his father, Jimmy DiPiano, the name taken from his mother's side. Had that nickname as he won the title. He's looking to get back into the spotlight.
Mike Rossman can't figure this kid out. His awkwardness is definitely knocking his timing off. Every time he tries a punch, he's missing this kid.
That's because 90% of the punches are being aimed for the head, and the guy moves that head pretty good. He has to feint to the head and go to the body.
He got a little head, Gil.
The right hand from Braxton. Rossman countered back to the body, but Braxton had the better punch.
I tell you, there's no doubting that our boy Rossman wants this fight badly, because that shot would have knocked out a lesser man.
Well, you know, Braxton is another one of those guys with the big muscles. They're good clubbers. They hurt you with the punches, but they don't have that big snap. He's not what you would call a devastating puncher.
I think you're right, Gil. The better puncher is Rossman, but he's not been able to land.
Rossman 26 knockouts in his 40 victories. Braxton 7 in his 13. Under a minute to go, round 5.
Mike is looking to grab inside. Instead of grabbing, he should be getting position and letting those combinations that he was so famous for go.
Less than 30 seconds, round 5, and Rossman tagged again in that exchange. Braxton has had the more varied attack, gentlemen. He's been going to the body and then coming up top, going back down below.
Yeah, he looks like he's the man right now, Tim. He's doing everything just right, and Mike's giving him enough room to be effective.
End of round 5. Round number 6. We are live from Resorts International Hotel in Atlantic City. Tim Ryan with Angelo Dundee, Gil Clancy. Mike Rossman against Dwight Braxton. The winner expecting to get a title opportunity against Matthew Saad Muhammad, WBC champion, who's in attendance here today. A little quicker start for Rossman this round. He must know that things are not going well for him through the first half of the fight. Again, Braxton landing that exchange. Rossman taking it well, but getting hit.
Now, Rossman wobbled for the first time, Tim. He got nailed a real good punch that time. The guy walked into it, and he really wobbled with that shot.
Braxton backs him up with another left.
Rossman's in great shape, Tim. He's been taking some real good punches. If he wasn't in great shape, he'd have been on the floor right now.
You know, and usually these fellas with the big muscles, they tend to tire later in a fight. That could be a factor, but right now it seems to me that he has everything going his own way so much that he's relaxed. With a little pressure, maybe Braxton will tire a little bit. Good experienced fight, though, for a guy with 14 fights. He shows a lot of experience, makes good moves.
He's slowing down his pace a little bit, too, Gil. You're right. He's got to pick up his pace, because otherwise Mike's experience will pay off.
Yeah, but now that he's slowed down a little, it's up to Mike to really get back into this ball game.
Under a minute to go, round number 6.
That was the best punch Rossman threw in 2 rounds, that good left hook underneath.
Well, you know, the experience of Braxton showed that when he started blowing his nose, Gil. You know that's a no-no.
That's right, close your eye right up.
Close your eye right up, so he can't afford that.
A little more reluctant to throw punches, and we'll be watching to see whether he's tiring or not.
Well, Braxton's looking for the big punch. He's making a mistake. Instead of being steady like he did early on with that left hand and going forward.
15 seconds left in round number 6. Hard left hook from Braxton. Another one. Round number 7 of the scheduled 10-round light heavyweight bout. They were working on that cut, which is just on top of the left eyebrow of Rossman. Does not appear to be serious. Braxton relaxed a little bit in round number 6. It was the best round for Rossman as we saw it after Braxton had taken a commanding lead in the fight, the way we're scoring it on our obviously unofficial cards. Tim Ryan with Angelo Dundee, Gil Clancy. We are live from Atlantic City, New Jersey.
It looks like Quincy McCall jumped all over Braxton, so he told him to get loose and start boxing again. That's what he went back to doing. And that's what he has to do.
Good right hand from Rossman.
Braxton falls for that feint every time. Every time Rossman feints a jab, he just bends over to his right. That's why Rossman would just start feinting that jab and hook to the body, hook to the head. I think he can score a lot of points. But he just can't out-jab this guy.
Right hand from Braxton to the chin of Rossman and a left hook.
Here he comes like a freight train again.
Braxton busier again now in round 7.
Coming like a freight train.
Right hand to the cheekbone of Rossman.
Rossman has to punch back there. He spun out, but he didn't make the other fella pay. The guy misses punches and doesn't have to pay. He's in command, Tim. Braxton's in command.
Yep, Rossman went back to doing what he was doing before, Tim. He's backing up. You can't do that with this kid.
There he goes, Rossman. A left hook from Braxton has sent Rossman to the canvas, and it does not look like he's going to get up. Dwight Braxton has stopped Mike Rossman here in the 7th round with a vicious left hook. And Dwight Braxton, with just 15 professional fights, can now feel that he is likely going to be battling for the championship against Matthew Saad Muhammad. And on our scorecards, he had the first 5 rounds. We'll see how the judges saw it, but he was very much in command right from the opening bell. The only round that Rossman started to get anything going in was round 6, but Braxton turned it right back around at the beginning of round 7, landed that big left hook, and we'll see it again, gentlemen.
There goes nothing wrong with that right hand, and then the left hook behind it.
Rossman, while not out cold, certainly was in no shape to continue. He decided that was enough as he took a tremendous big
I don't
left.
know if he decided or he couldn't get up.
No.
That right hand hurt him real badly. He was hurt then. Just a setup now for that left hook to follow it.
He was out of it. He didn't know where he was.
So Dwight Braxton with a knockout win here in the 7th round. And we're going to get up and have a chance to talk with Dwight Braxton about his impressive victory over Mike Rossman today. Gentlemen?
You know, Gil, what it was with that, Gil, Rossman couldn't stop this guy from doing what he was doing.
That's right. He was coming like a freight train, Ange. He was just running right through Ross, but he seemed too strong for him.
Yes, he did. And his awkwardness, that won the fight. That left hand won the fight. Everything he done complimented to beat Mike Rossman.
Look at that body. It's like a rock. Not an ounce of fat on the man.
Yes, it is. I mean, but what he does, he keeps the pressure on you, keeps you running, and dictates the pace of the fight, which wins fights. You know that.
You know, Edge, as you pointed out, he's only had 14 professional fights, but he fights like a guy with 60 fights. Moves that head good, slips.
Well, no, that's that teaching. That's that teaching that he does. I mean, the teaching that the Quenzel McCalls and that kid who was Wesley Mozon, these are kids that are great teachers. The both of them are right beside him in the ring. And it shows what they can do with a young man that wants to be a fighter.
Well, he's a happy man right now, I'll tell you that, Angel. What a big opportunity for him.
All right, we've got Dwight Braxton with us here, and which camera are we working to over here? All right. Okay, Dwight, you got to feel pretty good about this one. Even the questions about whether Rossman was a used-up fighter or not, for you, let's get your impression.
He wasn't. He was fine. He was good. He was sharp. He was in there to fight. And I was there to fight, too. I got my best corner, Quenzel McCall, Wesley Mozon. I'm not fair. I want both of the Muhammads. I don't care. I want both of them.
Well, the talk is that you're going to get the opportunity against Matthew Saad Muhammad. Can you tell us anything more about that, Quenzel? Were there any promises made in advance for the winner of this fight?
No, there hasn't been any definite promises made. We're still hoping, that's all.
Well, certainly, Dwight, you got to feel good about the way you dominated the fight. You look very relaxed. You look very poised. A lot more experience than a guy with just 15 pro fights.
I trust in God. I allow you out, but I trust in God. That's right.
Dwight, just 15 pro fights. The question of whether Rossman's experience would be too much for you.
He was tough. He was tough.
That's congratulations from Mike Rossman over there. And Dwight, can you project yourself? Would you have a preference if you do get a choice as far as Mustafa Muhammad or Matthew Saad?
I'll fight them both on the same night. They won't go to distance.
All right, Dwight Braxton, congratulations to you. Let's see if we can get... They're taking Mike out. I guess Mike Rossman has already left the ring. But Dwight Braxton has put himself very much into the top ranks of the light heavyweight picture with a knockout victory over Mike Rossman here.